Age of Change. Chapter 4. Staring at the wounded defensive goblin made me feel like my stomach was hurting. The feeling seems to come from the brain matter that was on my clothes with the added guilt of killing a humanoid being. I always thought of myself as a person who could kill when push came to shove, but when it actually happens it comes with a sickening feeling. If I had to kill a human being, I don't know if I would have it in me. Looking back at the goblin, I pushed down the feeling as best as I could, and with my resolve built up I held up my modified club above my head. I was ready to give the final blow, but what I failed to notice was the goblin had reached for its club and held it. The goblin knew that it had no chance of surviving, so it waited for me to give it its death blow. I only had one thought in my head: to end this situation as quickly as possible, then to help April. Well, maybe two thoughts. As I was swinging the club down, the goblin tightened his hand on its club and threw it at me. Before my club connected, the goblin's club hit me square in the guts. The club hit me so hard the world went black for what seemed like an eternity, but only lasted a tenth of a second. Crackkkkkk, crackkkk. The loud, creepy, disturbing sound of bones breaking shocked me back into reality. I looked down at the dying goblin to see his ribs protruding out his stomach, red blood mixed with broken bones, crushed organs flowed out his body. The gory scene made me nauseous. I couldn't hold back my non-existent breakfast. Blauugh, my greenish-red vomit erupted out my mouth and splashed everywhere. Throwing up and seeing such a disgusting scene made me lose all the strength in my legs. I fell down in the throw up and blood. The smell was extremely revolting, making me throw up one more time. My stomach was hurting, and I couldn't take the smell anymore. I mustered my remaining strength, held my breath in, and started to crawl to the clean, untainted air. It took me 15 seconds, but it was all worth it. I was free at last. I wanted to lay down and fall asleep, but April was still fighting. I wanted to go and help, but I had no more strength. The last hit to the stomach did a number on me. I was surprised that I was even able to stay awake at this point. All I could do right now was look up and see how April handled the situation. If she lost, we were both in a place where we could both lose our lives. I prayed for her victory. I was still a virgin and had so much to live for. April didn't disappoint. She fought the goblins as easy as breathing. She had already killed one goblin with two more in front of her. One goblin was facing her from the left, the other from the right. The goblins attacked simultaneously. April slid back while the two clubs hit her previous spot. After sliding back, April did a front kick to the side of left goblin's head. While landing on her right leg, she did a back kick to the goblin's stomach. The goblin landed on the floor with a BAM. April finished the goblin off by stomping its head in. The remaining goblin was visibly shook. Even I was shocked. She looked good while fighting, but was extremely brutal. I should be the one asking her for protection. The last goblin initiated its next attack by lunging after April. April sidestepped the attack, got into the goblin's guard, and axe kicked its head. The goblin fell head first to the ground. Before the goblin could get up, April stomped on its head. All you could hear was the sound of bones breaking. The goblin didn't even see the next attack before he was dead. I had my mouth wide open while turning my head side to side, trying to see if someone saw what I've seen. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I just ended up looking like an idiot. April saw me and laughed. I knew I looked stupid, so I laughed along with her. She walked up to me to pick me up and told me, "You stank, go take a bath." Seriously, you stank though. Embarrassing as that was, she was right. I needed to clean myself. 20 minutes after I scrubbed myself clean, we ended up back on the ground floor. There was a Walgreens 3 minutes away from us by foot. It was the closest place to us, so we decided to choose to go there. Walking out the apartment buildings, we saw mangled bodies everywhere. We walked up to the nearest body to see that the person's head was smashed in. Thinking back on my fights, I shuddered and thanked the universe that I was alive. Passing by countless bodies, we saw dead kids and even dead babies. It was one of the saddest things I saw in my life. The kids had just began living their lives and were already dead. Life had many ups and downs, but it was until today I saw how brutal life could be. We gave the dead our prayers, hoping that they would have better lives in their next life. After saying our prayers, we left for the store. While walking to Walgreens, outside was creepily quiet. Other than the dead bodies and abandoned cars, there weren't any living beings in sight. This gave me an ominous feeling, as if we shouldn't be here. Usually I would have left in this situation, but we would need supplies for now and the future. It was better to look now than in the future, since we would never know if we would have the chance again. The closer we came to Walgreens, the stronger the feeling became. The worst thing about this was that there wasn't anything to there. It felt like there was maybe a ghost watching and following us. The feeling kept getting stronger and stronger, but nothing out of the ordinary happened. When we entered Walgreens, the feeling disappeared altogether. I felt a chill ran through my back, and from the feeling I knew something was following us, and if we left the store we had a high chance of getting attacked. I bitterly chuckled to myself. I couldn't wait for this day to be over. April heard me chuckling and told me, "You don't have to worry, I'll protect you." I chuckled more bitterly than before. She really knew how to cheer a guy up. "I'll go get toothbrushes and all other small thingies we might need," I said, trying to change the subject. "Why you trying to change the subject? You embarrassed or what?" "Alright, I'll go get food and everything else," she said. I kept thinking that this girl had no chill, she was just grilling me. Contrary to popular belief, I actually didn't mind. I liked a girl with some sass, but I silently vowed to get her back. We went our separate ways to find what we would need. I found toothbrushes, mouthwash, hair products, and everything we might need in the future. I didn't know how much things we would need, so I got 2 of everything. The only thing that I couldn't find that we would most likely need later on was a flint striker to make fires. We'd probably need to find a different store to get one, but that'll be work for the future. I was finished getting everything that could fit in my book bag. I went to look for April. I found her looking at the limited amount of greens in the store. I asked her if she had everything we needed and if she was ready to go. She showed me everything that she was able to fit in her bag. There wasn't any junk food or candy, but it was enough healthy food for us to last a couple of days. As we were leaving, we passed by the candy aisle. I stared at the candy that was screaming at me, "Come get me, you know you want me." I fought my urges, since I knew that I could come back here later. I only hoped that there wasn't any people that would come by and take all of it, but from the destruction I've seen so far, there was a small chance of that happening. Walking out of Walgreens, the afternoon warmth of the sun hit our bodies. Seconds later, the chilling feeling of someone me came back. I looked around to see if there was anyone watching us that had malicious content. As what happened earlier, nothing was there. The feeling seems to be a figment of my imagination. Shrugging off the creepy feeling, we started to walk back to the apartment. Just as I was starting to relax, the feeling came back with a vengeance. Something in my being told me to jump to my left. I have never felt something like this before. I didn't know what would happen, so I followed what the voice told me. The split second that I jumped to my left, a sharp object passed by my right arm. I looked at my right arm to look at where I felt the object pass to find my arm bleeding. If you like the content, like and subscribe.